Miami, 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 Miami. It feels like Miami.
Welcome to the Miami Heat Beat postgame show. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas. And with me today, the great, the intelligent Siobhan.
Hello. Those things, yes.
All those things and more. Welcoming back to the program, Kay. What's up, Kay? How you doing, man?
Yo, how everybody doing?
I'm feeling okay,
Right.
given the
Right.
the result of what happened. But we'll get into that. Coming back to the program, longtime veteran, fan favorite, live from a beach, it appears, is Christian Hernandez.
On my island, G.
I'm weak.
Also joining
it's good
us.
to be back. It's very good to be back.
Also joining us today, later, we are awaiting confirmation that Jefferey Epstein will be joining the program. So at the end of the show, Jefferey Epstein, my hair doctor, will be joining the program. He has a lot of things to say about the Heat. He's been in the news. Well, he has not been in the news, but you know, his SEO has been in the news. If you Google his name, make sure you put MD after it. He will be going. Chat says Christian looks like Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark, the guy from ESPN.
Yeah. Chat says that you come back and they lose. Listen, I want to get right into this game, Bon. I don't know. I'm curious as to what you think, Siobhan, because they had a total collapse in the fourth quarter. What did they score? 9 points, 11 points. They scored 19 points. It felt like 11. They scored 19 points in the fourth quarter. And they had a season high in turnovers for the game. Jaquez kind of had his worst outing of the season, of an incredible season. And I thought Cleveland made a lot of defensive adjustments. And I am not broken up about this loss. I think that in the course of 82, it's going to happen. They missed makeable looks. Mm-hmm. Am I being too soft on them for a Cleveland team that was missing 3 starters, 2 All-NBA, 3 All-NBA guys, really, 3 contenders for All-NBA?
I don't think so. I too am not too broken up about it. Second game of the little Cleveland mini series, sitting some guys. Cleveland did win 64 games last year. Like, Cleveland's a good team. They have length. They have things that traditionally have caused us problems. They still have things that cause us problems in areas where we are still kind of finding our weight in kind of our, our big boy britches at times. But no, you're right. I think they made defensive adjustments. Like I said, we talked about it pre-show. We'll get into it here in a little bit. But no, I think it's because they missed makeable things. They missed things that they had been making. Jaime, like you said, had his poorest game. The turnovers were just, it gets to a point to where they become insurmountable. And that's kind of what some of that field looks like from today. So I'm not too broken up about it either. Schematically, I thought it was still fun. And it's a worthy opponent. This is how games against Cleveland should feel. Look, it shouldn't feel like beat downs, in my opinion, in either direction. So I'm cool here.
Okay, I am in total agreement with Bon, but obviously, they're coming off one of the biggest highs of the season, right? They have this incredible overtime game against a team that embarrassed them in the previous postseason. And I thought a lot of fans were really kind of looking at today like, okay, well, that's an easy win that they should have. And so the vibes are kind of like a little up and down all over the place. I think that we should have grace with a young team that is missing both Bam and Tyler. I think we're also missing players that I think is not talked about, but certainly disappointing from Miami's end.
I mean, yeah, everything's true. Nothing that's been said tonight is untrue, but I think both of you hit on, and that's kind of why, like, I wanted to like mark what you said there. Like the incredible high on Miami side was also matched, I would say, by that same energy from Cleveland. Like they just lost the other night, and they probably feel like they weren't supposed to lose. So whether it was those same guys or not, especially considering that the big guns were out and everybody was looking at them like food coming in, like, you know, those are pro ballers too. It was all of that working in the same bandage. And I mean, we all watch the Heat. This is a game they lose. I'm not giving them a pass, but it's just traditionally a game they lose. Whether you want to say they looking past them, playing down to the level of competition, whatever it is, all the schematic things y'all talked about were present as well. But I think along with that, seeing unusual bodies and having to deploy them in an unusual way, with Atkinson having to go in a different manner to try to get it done, I think that's also some shell shock. And the biggest thing that both of you all mentioned was Jaime's performance. Jaime missed a bunch of looks tonight that he's been making all year. So I'm going to look at this as the anomaly. And I guess what that highlights is how good he's been when you haven't had Tyler, when you haven't had Bam for the last 4 games.
Yeah.
Because you get an off night for him, which, I mean, you know, you like him to be perfect 82 out of 82, but I mean, he's entitled to an off night too because he ain't Jordan, and even Jordan had those. But it just highlights that when you get one from him and you're missing the other 2 guys, this is kind of how it looks. Because even with Norm, and I think you were confused about the amount of points scored in the 4th quarter, because they stole like 7 or 8 as the game was
right at the end,
a minute and a half left. Yeah, so that's why I felt like that. But even with guys having high totals, I think Norm finished with 27. It just magnified how good Jaime has been during their timeout, but not broken up either.
I think, Christian, we have a Miami offense that certainly been good in terms of point total. I think their offensive rating has kind of fluctuated from anywhere from 5th to 16th. So it's kind of been up and down, but certainly the pace and the point totals have been super up there. You know, today they score 116, which it's funny because last year that would have been one of their higher point totals. This season, it's certainly, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'd imagine it's one of their 3 lowest point totals of the season. You have not really been so in the weeds for the
this is the first game I watched, actually.
There you go. So that, and I know that to be true, and I think that you can probably provide an interesting perspective from somebody who has not really watched the team a lot this year, and you're familiar with their game, unfortunately. So on an off night for them offensively, how does it look like for you, who has really not watched a lot of this great offense?
Oh, yeah. I'm only going to stick to what I actually watched, which was the first half and a little bit of the beginning of the 3rd quarter, which was all going great. You know, from what I saw, we had a great night tonight. You know, I don't know what the fuck happened after I left the bar and I came home, but, you know, it is what it is. From what I saw, though, and honestly, and I was texting G while in the middle of the first half, it's frustrating because I feel like a lot of the things we've been asking for years is kind of what we're just seeing now. Push the ball a little bit. Like, be more up-tempo. Like, take what the defense is giving you. These are not complicated things. And if we had to bring in some guy named Noah for all of a sudden them to just start going away from, I don't know, a feet in cement offense. Like, yeah, you know why your offense and your pace was always terrible is because you would start every single possession with a fucking, you know, pick and roll at the top of the key or at one of the elbows. It's like, yeah, you're going to a set play. What I saw in the first half was honestly illuminating, especially when the ball was in Jaime's hands. They're just seeking space, making quick passes, looking for empty space, attacking creases, backdoor cuts, like, and then if there's nothing else, just attacking the guy that's on you. Just isolation basketball, leading that to creating, you know, kinks in the defense, kicking it out, you know, again, finding space, finding easy shots. I think what I saw in the first half tonight, and they put up 69 points in the first half, is easily repeatable. Now, the one thing that I am expecting to happen, and I'm assuming, based on kind of some of what Gianni said, happened in the second half, is Jaime with the ball in his hands and ahead of steam, getting into people's bodies and either creating or going up to finish is a real problem for defenses. And clearly that must be how he's been doing well this season. Teams will start putting bigger, longer defenders on him. They will start hedging and having other people help. And we have to see how Jaime takes the next step of dealing with that kind of extra attention on the defensive end.
Chat asked a great question. I don't know what was higher, Cleveland's offensive rebounds or G's blood pressure. Well,
Oh,
we
were you
actually
scratching?
just bought a brand new blood
Oh
pressure
my
Hell
machine.
God.
yeah, let's
We can
go.
actually just go ahead and try to check this live on air.
While
I-
you do that, it's like, no, go ahead.
no, I was actually going to kick it to you and talk about the things Cleveland did defensively, because one of the most interesting things I thought that they did was a huge part of Miami's offense now is when the initial guy makes his drive, the corner man, the weak side corner man does or cuts from one baseline to the other, and then somebody relocates to that corner. So there's always like the circular motion, and there's always
Mhm.
movement. And something Cleveland was doing is that they tagged that baseline cutter up until the paint. And then when that baseline cutter exited the paint to the other corner, they stayed in the paint to provide
Yes.
extra help for the drivers, Bond. And I thought that was a really smart play by Cleveland. Cleveland has a lot of size, as you said. And I thought that was really effective in kind of preventing Miami from getting free reign at the rim. They only had 11. They Miami had you know, a low percentage of their offense at the rim tonight, which is typically not the case. They're attack, attack, attack. And that was, I thought, the big adjustment Cleveland showed.
And I've been saying it since the San Antonio game. That is what San Antonio did in the second half. They did the exact same thing. Whereas in the first half, they were keeping that defender with that cutter, and so then keeping that space beneath the basket kind of cleared open, and just occupying people's attention elsewhere. They started doing the same thing. They started dropping that guy off the cutter and just loading in the paint, and then it's now you are trying to initiate out of kind of the extended block, but then there's not, I talked about this I think last show, then there's not the secondary kind of like flaring action, the pennant action. If you have one guy who's the wing and like you're big, like if you have your paint kind of loaded that way, the activity and the creases that you're kind of looking for in the second side, they still have to either come with some clearing out, some clearing away, like some occupying of one of those people who are loaded beneath the basket, or some screening, some walling off, and some skips in that way. And truly, truly, I've been saying it since San Antonio did it the second half. I have noticed also that that is how teams have, kind of stymied a bit of this offensive attack. I think E. Reed gave the stat early in the game that Miami is leading the association in points in the paint. And that's not from, post play. That's not from originating action from a post up and kind of scoring traditionally. The largest chunk of that is from driving kick, driving finish, lots of driving finish, lots of driving and finishing over, around, through, between, behind the backs of defenders. And like you said, I'm interested in continuing, how we continue to add and stack the rest of the pieces to this offense. And I love Christian. Oh my God. Fun fact, actually, you can take me out. Christian was one of my favorite listens before I joined TV. Christian was one of my favorite voices. And I feel so much of kind of the energy of what he just said. We're playing like quick but good and smart and really well composed, kind of basic, simple. There was a time in basketball where the pick and roll was not the predominant mechanism of cracking open a defense. And it's been so interesting, the just like a lot of
Dude,
the language
remember when deep interior passes were a
that was a
legitimate
thing.
cornerstone of an offense?
Man,
Like,
we were, triangle was a thing. Like we have had other ways of, kind of attacking offense. And so it's just some of the fanfare around, and Miami's doing it well. They're playing good isolation basketball in small spaces. And that's fun to do. But I feel some of Christian's. I've been wanting to call that man like La Roche Posay this entire time. But shout out to him. Shout out to them for seeking the help and all. But yeah, I agree, G, and kind of what Cleveland was able to do, and they were playing more physical. They were digging earlier. Their one away dig defense was more punctuated. It was quicker. It was stronger. Um, and yeah, it's something Miami's going to have to
No, and
continue with.
it was noticeable at certain points that, I don't know, it seemed like Jared Allen was having an easy time on offense. And that's where you start to really feel Bam missing.
Again,
You're counting on Kalel to be an interior presence, and it's where the question of the motor comes in, unfortunately.
Kalel and Nico in rotation.
I think there are several things that play there with that offense. When you look at it, Cleveland usually focuses on keeping those gaps and those lanes open for their drivers, namely Donovan Mitchell, any other guard that got out there. Whereas tonight they were just able to let him do his thing. You saw him faking, you saw him hooking, you saw him, shooting a little midi jump shot. I think that has a lot to do with Jared Allen's performance tonight. Yeah, he was extra physical, but they also just ran it through him. It's like certain times they're like, no, get out of there. We don't want you getting those looks because those looks going to somebody else. To your point about the defense, though, and also speaking of Jared Allen, another thing they were doing on the baseline too is they just weren't allowing you to cross it. Like there were multiple times where like you saw Norm get caught up on the drive and he ends up almost like in no man's land because Allen isn't letting him run that baseline. So to that physicality point,
okay,
G,
that
158. G has a
little high.
No, I'm hypertensive, so my blood pressure is indeed higher than the Cleveland Cavs offensive rebound rate. You see it here, folks. Slightly hypertensious.
Are you okay?
I'm not.
I'm not.
I feel like Cleveland's rebound rate was probably somewhere in the 120s, 130s. Probably.
Fat guy problem. Yeah. This is fat guy problem. Yeah, no. Listen,
has it come down since the end of the game? Is the important question.
I just took it right now. So
You just do that. You ain't.
I just did it. I just unboxed this and we did this together on air.
And again, this is after a cool down. So 10 minutes ago, you might have been a little. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna ask Dr. Epstein.
Redlining, man. Relax.
Oh my God, yeah, that's a little on the high side, So, little concerning there.
Give my man some garlic. You need some garlic in your life. Blood pressure.
I do want to,
bro. Because I'm genuinely concerned.
You gotta hit the cold plunge.
You're laughing, so I'm gonna laugh.
No, yeah, we're all laughing together. No, listen, my blood pressure ranges from that to pretty normal. It's always,
I hope.
I think I take medication. I'm on losartan. You know what I mean? Like I went to the gym today. I'm trying to get healthy. I'm trying to lower that guy.
Let's go.
Yeah. I was on the bike today. I run. I do Stairmaster some days. I eat really healthy. I had nice lean, meal today with a nice radicchio salad. I got this really nice tarragon mustard from like a little bespoke store. I did a nice vinaigrette with that.
What's radicchio? Is that like a green?
Radicchio is like a leafy vegetable. It's really nice. Okay. It has a it's a bit of a bitter herb. I kind of like it. It goes nice with more.
Oh, is it kind of like a fennel almost?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it fennel. It's like red. I mean,
it looks like
a profile.
Right. It looks like the red cabbage thing.
It looks like red cabbage.
Right?
Oh, okay.
Yes, exactly. It's
quite
nice.
Radish. Like radishes and cabbage had sex.
That's
no. Now I see it.
No, yeah, it's a great analysis. So transitioning from my health back to Heat defense, both of which need Cavs defense, both of which need attention. Something I really liked about Miami is because they don't screen. They're preventing teams from switching, from getting in drop, and from giving them cushion, right? And I thought something else Cleveland did was I thought their defenders were not really pressed up against Miami shooters or offensive players unless it was Norman Powell. I thought they had different rules for Norm, but like Jaquez, knowing that he's not a shooter, Jaquez likes to go with a little bit of a head of steam. They're kind of giving him that cushion on the catch. They're not waiting for him right at when he catches the ball. They're not putting pressure like that. And I thought that was something also because there's no screen to go under. I thought that was an interesting adjustment that they did as well, kind of throughout the game. So
it's a natural response. Dare him to shoot.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty effective.
and they stationed him a lot tonight, one away. So after you get like your initial thrust, after you get your initial crack, and his elbow help kind of digs, it's not really too much of a recovery. Like he's been finding himself at that like wing spot of his, which seems to give him some of the most trouble from, versus like when he finds himself in the corner.
Yeah, and I think that kind of his struggles today were some of that. I thought Cleveland has particularly big help, and I thought they were sending, like we talked about earlier, like Jared Allen, like if Fontecchio was cutting and they had Allen on him sometimes, like he stays in the paint, and that's kind of bother Jaime. But I did think that a lot of them were makeable. He had a lot of shots that kind of went in, trickled out. I thought a lot of his looks were makeable. I don't know how many
You see
threes
what
he took.
Ollie said? You see what Ollie said in chat? He said
No,
JJ just said, I had a lot of good looks and I missed some easy ones after being asked if the crowded paint bothered him.
yeah, no, and I agree with that. I thought that a lot of them were super makeable looks. Jaime took
Shots
he
he's
took
made all
four.
year, halfway down even.
Absolutely. And Kay, he took 4 threes tonight, which is a little bit on the high end for him. And I kind of feel like he struggles when that number goes up, he's struggling. Like I think when you see a lot of 3-point attempts from him, it's because he's not as comfortable as he needs to be. Would you agree?
I agree with you, but I also feel like that thing that Christian mentioned, like where they're daring him to shoot it, I think he felt that too. So I don't know if it's a result of the shots not going down or him saying, okay, I gotta get them to play me because of I think you mentioned it too. Bond was like the sort of the sort of way they half played him, like they didn't fully go, but they didn't fully stay. So I think he was trying to get him to react so that he could actually make some things happen. But even there, it was a situation where he was just trying to get to the same looks that he's been getting. He's been hitting them over contested defense. Yeah, they were a little more physical. I speak to that third period where they went with the lineup with Dean Wade at the 3. So they probably went like, 6'4", 6'4", 6'10", 6'9", 7 foot. I mean, well, 6, whatever Jared Allen is, you know what I mean? But I think that was the section where he was like, oh, but everything else is just trying to adjust to the game because everything you said, there are no set plays. It's read and react. Motion, you fill my gap, and I'm going to react to what that man do. We don't have a predetermined spot on the ball. Because even throughout the course of the game, you saw them running like, I think he ran a pick and roll dribble handoff to Simone Fontecchio. Like, you saw that, but that was because of the read and react, him trying to adjust and make the defense do what he needed to do.
Really quickly, are we calling 4 threes for Jaime a lot? Do we feel like that's a lot?
No, I think that, I mean, we talked about this last show. I think keeping the number around 2 a game.
Yeah, comparatively for this season, that would be.
Yeah, like I think he's just and I think
I think 2 to
he's
4
never
is
proved he can really shoot it.
No, that's why I don't think that him
Yeah.
shooting a lot of 3. I think like Bond, I think him attacking is what's effective. I think as a passer, he's grown significantly. I think that when he's shooting those shots, I like it when it's in the rhythm of the offense, when it's like off of a late clock kick out or something like that. But like 4 threes, and Kay's right. Like they're daring him to shoot because they're playing off of him. And I just think like you're just playing into your opponents a bit. You're not a good shooter. It's like D Wade. Like, okay,
No,
Dwayne,
I mean, again, I've only watched the first half tonight. Was Jaime in the first half a lot of what we've seen this season?
in what
I would
sense?
say he had a poor half. Play style, yes.
Play style, yeah, like attacking the paint.
Yeah,
like,
effectiveness. He's been, his effectiveness has been better. But he hasn't just. Tonight wasn't.
If that's really how he's playing every night, the fact that he's shooting 58% from the field is tremendous. Because shooting a very high percentage when you're taking a bunch of push shots and shots where you're seeking contact, regardless of if it's at the rim or 10 feet away, like those are not easy shots. And if he can do that at a high level without turning the ball over, and the thing I'm taking a look at his season stats for the first time, is he's doubled his assists and his turnover rate has barely moved.
Yeah.
Like with this play style, that is incredibly impressive that he is not causing turnovers and additional problems, especially on a night where the team was turning the ball over left and right. Dude had 1 turnover. He was struggling.
Christian, he's been incredibly effective, and I'm about to bring in a man who's also incredibly effective. we welcome to the show Dr. Jefferey Epstein. Doctor, our audience didn't believe me. I am living proof. Look at this beautiful hairline that you helped recreate. Doctor, welcome. Dr. Jefferey Epstein, welcome to Miami Heat Beat. How are you this evening?
I'm great, guys. Thank you. And ladies, thank you very much for having me on. It's real pleasure to join you all. You got a great show.
Thank you. Doctor.
Good to
Thank
see
you
you
so
again,
much.
Doctor.
Listen, you have been the talk of the town. Myself and Christian have been patients of yours before. We are believers in the process. Your practice down in South Miami is one of the best. But the audience wants to know what is it like having your name, given the reality, right? You are a very accomplished medical professional. You are very decorated. Everybody says you are the best in this city. Yet, unfortunately, you share a name with one of the most notorious criminals in our country's history.
Who?
What's his
Actually,
name?
that was quite an introduction. Back when you said trust the process, are we talking about the Sixers? Or are we talking about the Epstein?
No,
process?
exactly.
Get him.
No, an actual good process, Doctor.
Not the Joel Embiid frustrated process. And,
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, they're still figuring that out.
Still processing.
Yeah, the other day I'm walking along the beach, and I live on Key Biscayne. I ran into a guy. He introduces himself, goes, my name's John Daly. I'm like, that's a good name. It wasn't the John Daly. I'm like, well, I'm Jeff Epstein. He's like, you got me beat. Yeah. Plus, the other thing is this other John Daly didn't have a David Letterman beard. He looked more like a regular skinny guy. And here I am, actually
really
having been
glorious beard right now.
when he was still alive. Actually, the New York Post once ran a story about the pedophile Jeff Epstein around 11 years ago. And by mistake, they posted my photo.
No.
Doctor. No
Yeah,
way.
so it's
my God.
you're not the first person to confuse us. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
When Christian recommended, because Christian was your patient first, and he had recommended, and he's like, well, you're not going to believe me, but this was my doctor, and I really recommend. And listen, I'm a happy customer. I recommend anybody in this city or out of it, if you need help, to please visit
Thanks,
Dr.
Giancarlo.
Epstein's practice.
Great office right there on Sunset Drive.
Doctor, real quick, while we
That's
have
right.
you
Thanks,
here,
guys.
I know we don't have you
Yeah.
for a ton of time. Want to kind of get your thoughts on the Heat real quick this season. They've obviously been a little bit better than people thought. Have you been enjoying the team this year? How has it felt, kind of being in Miami and seeing their success?
Well, I was a former season ticket holder. I was that season when they got the big three. Before then, I was a big Hurricanes basketball fan, but I couldn't give up the opportunity to watch them. I think Bam Adebayo has taken a significant step. I think that's been, obviously, he's become the superstar from that, particularly the Olympics, and that suddenly he was like put in the same conversation. Obviously not the KD, Steph Curry, as KD says, no one else, there's no one that can guard KD and Steph and LeBron. But I'm really impressed. How can you not be a basketball aficionado and not be a huge fan of Spoelstra? Just the culture, the Heat culture. And so I think that it's exciting. I think I can't believe they pulled that back door the other day against Cleveland.
Incredible.
I mean, that was like, I didn't listen to your guys' show, but that was like ridiculous in terms of like, Spoelstra saw the weakness and he made a great call. But I enjoy watching them. I love the NBA. NBA is just brilliant.
You're a ball knower. I mean, you're absolutely a ball. I mean, and we've really pushed the Spoach of the Year campaign on this show. We're really trying to get it off the ground, kind of get Eric the recognition that he deserves this season. Doctor, before we see you out, and again, thank you so much for giving us a little time on the program today and laughing with us and having fun because the audience has really enjoyed it. I thought it'd be fun to play a little game with you to see you run a great practice. And there's a lot of very famous NBA players who have had trouble with their hair. Listen, all men of our age in their 30s, we have our struggles, sometimes, and there's no shame in getting some help. So I thought it would be fun to show you some famous NBA hairlines.
First, you got to show Rashid. That was the craziest Rashid Wallace when he was.
I didn't even have that one.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That was like the craziest hair loss pattern. That was probably a scarring alopecia because it wasn't even symmetric. I remember that from like 20 years, 15 years ago.
I want a scientific.
No, yeah, that's what I want. I want the doctor to diagnose. So here's our first one. We have very famously LeBron James, one of the greatest players ever, legendary Heat player. Doctor, what are you seeing here?
It's obviously an intermediate stage hair loss. I don't want to speculate, so I won't say anything. But I do recall when he took his headband off, that famous against San Antonio, that series where he took his headband off, and you saw a scar in the back of his head. What appeared to have been a less than ideally performed procedure. That's just speculation. LeBron is one of my. I love the guy, and whatever it doesn't matter. LeBron could just shave his head, be like Mike, and just embrace it.
Yeah.
He could do it. He could do whatever he wants. Plus, when you sport a beard like him, not quite the Black Jesus James Harden beard, but when you can sport a beard like LeBron, he commands immediate respect no matter what he does.
Doctor, if somebody with hair like that came to your practice, could you help them out?
I would need to provide realistic expectations, and I would be able to tell him, listen, LeBron, what I can do is basically fill in the frontal 2/3 nicely with one procedure, with the second procedure, potentially get some coverage in the crown. Crowns are always tougher to fill in. So achieving complete coverage, if I knew he wasn't going to lose any more hair and he had a very good donor supply, I could basically give him the appearance of like 80% coverage, which would be good enough for most people.
Absolutely incredible. Okay, so here our next player, Kevin Durant. What are you seeing, Doc? What are you seeing?
I've never seen it like this. He obviously has some intermediate hair loss. He does a great job covering it up. Does he usually shave his head, KD?
It's usually yes.
Yeah.
It's usually yeah.
Okay, that's why you don't normally see this. Obviously he's got some obviously more advanced hair loss in the crown, some frontal coverage, black hair in some ways is more challenging to work on in terms of you need more refined techniques for harvesting the hairs. But, and we have so much experience doing it, we actually can achieve more impressive results on a per grep basis when we do someone with curly hair like his than when we do someone with very straight hair. And that's because the curly hair, when it's allowed to grow out, even as short as KD's wearing it, provides an increased amount of coverage. Plus, there's very little color contrast between his hairs and the scalp. Dark hair generally gives the most impressive results. So he's a great candidate. KD would be a great candidate.
Listen,
the only thing is, I don't know if he'd fit on my operating room table, but
I don't think he would because I barely fit.
Yeah, Christian's a big guy.
and the other thing, of course, is I'd have to be careful because I'm sure his mom would come and join him having the procedure.
Oh, for sure.
She's the MVP.
Sounds like quilting. The better the texture, the better off it works.
Yeah,
coverage area.
Well, no. So when I went, doctor told me that I had a lot of follicles per graft, so I was able to use less grafts than I guess an average person would.
Correct.
So it all depends.
That's right, Christian. Yep.
You got great hair, Christian.
Follicles per graft. That sounds like an NBA stat. Doc, we have Manu Ginobili here. Ginobili, obviously,
a nuts metric.
Yeah.
Follicles per graft.
Follicles per graft, leading the league. Ginobili, known for his long, luscious hair. And listen, it happens to the best of us. Doc, what are you seeing here?
Well, I think he'd be a great candidate and he doesn't need it all because Manu, like he invented the Euro step. He's done so much for the league. I think he'd be a great candidate for a combination rhinoplasty combined with hair transplant. Just kidding. Manu, if I recall, Manu doesn't just have hair loss in the crown. He's got some frontal loss. Once again, the opposite of KD, very light scalp and dark hair. So it's more challenging to create the appearance of density in someone like Manu. For him, it would probably take a total of around 2,800 grafts, around 2,000 grafts the first procedure to get it, like take it from like a 1 out of 10, with 10 being completely filled in. 2,000 grafts would take Manu from a 1 out of 10 to like a 5 out of 10 in his crown. And then he would be able to come back and get another 1,500 grafts, get him to like a 7 to an 8. Complete coverage with such a light scalp and dark hair is going to be very challenging, but we can make a significant improvement. And then, of course, at the same time, we want to give him that nice, as Argentinians like, that nice full look, that long hair, and we'd be able to restore some density up front too. If I recall, he's got some hair loss up front.
What leads to the propensity for like the crown, specifically like the crown and the frontal loss?
It's all such an area? It's just a matter of genetics. Obviously, more guys. In general, I think having some, frontal temporal sessions, what we call entradas, I think can look pretty good with guys. But once they start thinning out front or once they start thinning out in the crown, that's when it starts making them look older. And that's what the most common things that guys are complaining about. Generally here in Miami, most of my patients are not guys in their 20s and 30s, more of them in their 40s and 50s. And they're not so concerned about having some recessions. They're just more concerned about having a nice frontal forelock that frames their face.
I'm sorry, I have to take advantage and take benefit from my community. We long believe these two myths, that brushing your hair and wearing fitted caps are root causes of hair loss. How accurate are those myths?
This is a great question. Great question.
Yeah, that's a common question I get asked. And the reality is there's, other than using harsh chemicals like relaxers that can burn the scalp, in general, wearing hats, brushing, normal aggressive brushing, most hair care products have no impact on causing hair loss. That's just the bottom line.
So that's the myth. That's something we've been told, to put that brush down for no reason.
Nope, it's not true.
Keep your waves tight, fellas. It's not true.
They're trying to stop the waves. Hey, they're trying to stop the waves.
It's a conspiracy.
It's man.
Well, with particularly with Black women, particularly some of the harsh, the harsh styles that cause pulling, that causes traction hair loss. And certainly there are some guys that have very long hair where they're, the weight of their weaves or their braids are pulling down, and that can accelerate some hair loss. So I shouldn't say no, but not wearing a hat and not brushing.
What content, what an expert we have. Doctor, we have one more and a little throwback here to the late, the great. Oh, I'm sorry. No, we had two more. Excuse me. This is Costas Kufa. What are you seeing here? This one's a little different. It's more on the front. Well, it's kind of thin. I feel like that's pretty common for a lot of people down here, especially Europeans. What do you see?
This is like a slam dunk case, pardon the pun. We restore that frontal forelock. Right now, he's got maybe 20% the original density. We do a 2,500 graft procedure, not necessarily needing to, lower it all. We can do a little bit of lowering if he wants it, but restoring the density up front. And the nice thing is, with some of the more advanced techniques that we're using, we don't need to shave the head at all, nor do we need to shave hair. So I got a lot of guys that get their procedure done. 2 days later, they're able to go back to work. And someone like him, we place 2,500 grafts up front. We take him from a 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 coverage to like a 7 out of 10. And suddenly he looks like a youthful stud. He'll look great. That's a great case.
This has been educational. All right. Our last one.
I can't wait to the throwback. Wait, let me see. Go ahead.
Do you want to guess? I don't think he'll get it. It's a deep cut.
Well, my namesake, Dr. J. Just kidding.
Right era, though. Right era.
Is he white or black?
He's black.
Okay.
I also believe
Now
he
go
played
ahead.
when it was black and white.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I shouldn't be so blinded to that. Go ahead. Let's see who
It's
you
a
got.
deep cut here. We have Nate Thurman, Golden State Warrior.
Yeah.
That's a receded. Now he eventually did come home. What are you seeing with that receding hairline, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a more advanced form of male pattern hair loss. Nate would be a great candidate. Restore that entire frontal area. Generally, in general, guys, my black patients prefer usually straighter hairlines, more solid, straighter hairlines, which is very possible. It's very achievable. We do a 2,800 to 3,000 graft procedure. We take them from literally a 0 out of 10 to like a 7 out of 10 up front, and it makes a huge difference. And the nice thing is with the FUE approach, in the future, if he decides when he gets into the era of the era of the 90s and late 80s, 90s, when guys start shaving their head, he would have no problem without having any telltale signs like the old linear scars from the older techniques. With FUE, we avoid that.
Doctor, thank you so
FUE,
much.
I'm sorry. FUE.
Ahead,
I'm sorry. I'm intrigued. What's FUE? I got two more things. What's FUE?
FUE stands for follicular unit extraction. It started in Europe around 18 years ago, came over to the States around 15 years ago, 12 years ago, and it really is the state-of-the-art procedure because it basically involves, instead of making an incision in the back of the head and taking each graft, dissecting it from a strip and leaving a telltale smile, that smile line scar in the back, we're able to harvest hairs one at a time from throughout the entire back and side, leaving no scars, so guys can shave their head in the future if they want.
And last thing, if Jaylen Brown calls you, bang on him.
Actually, Doctor, I have one last question.
Go ahead.
In terms of like time of operation, because I think I did around like 1,500 grafts the first time. You just described the 3,000 grafts. How much longer does that operation take compared to the one that I did, for example?
Yeah, there's obviously the first 300 grafts takes far and away the most time because that's the overtime. But typically we're able to do procedures of as many as around 3,500 grafts in one day. Typically, that's a 10 to 12 hour long procedure. We usually start around 6 a.m. And then most cases are done by 3:34. If they're a 1,500 graft case, usually done by around 4 o'clock. If they're a 3,400 graft case, usually they're done by around 6 p.m. We get a flow. Correct.
Yeah.
Doesn't add that much more.
Doc, you are the best sport. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
Yeah,
I want to
so much
show
for
you
coming
one
on.
last thing, and I want to get your thoughts on one final thing. Very, very famously, Jaylen Brown did this to OG Anunoby. Now, Doctor, I don't know if
I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't want to step on your toes, brother.
Doctor, I don't know if you see what happened here, but Jaylen Brown off the head fake, you see, leaves a stain. What is presumably a spray? Do you see under Anunoby's number?
Do it again. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Yeah. We'll bring it back, and it appears that Jaylen Brown has some sort of spray-on hairline that during his head fake move, got it on Anunoby.
Makes contact with Anunoby.
Makes contact.
Yeah, he's done
Look at the head fake
a
here.
few guys, right?
He like rubs it
yeah.
on. Yeah.
Yep.
What do you make of that?
He's using a hair dye. It's either powder, but generally powder you won't wear that to a sporting event. When you're there's these creams. In fact, I think Kenny Skywalker wears it as well. He's got that straight hairline. I think he puts it on. I'm speculating, but some of these guys go ahead and do that, and it can make it look, like a thick head of hair. Obviously, when you rub when you're using the head fake and your head butting, that's going to come off. So, but it can be effective to make you give you a fuller, more solid hairline.
Doctor, please tell the audience where your practice is and what it's called and where they can find you, and so that if anybody does need help, the excellent work you and your whole team provide, because really your whole team is absolutely incredible, from yourself to the nurse practitioners, to everybody, even at the front desk. I mean, your practice is really remarkable.
Well, you guys are really kind. I really appreciate the nice words, the compliments. It's a pleasure to work with, and participate in your show. Dr. Jefferey Epstein. It's not too hard to remember. Find me online, and I'm in South Miami, where I've been practicing for little over 30 years, specializing exclusively in hair restoration.
Dr. Jefferey Epstein, thank you so much. We're two clients that we're happy to be on the Epstein list, is all we can say. We're happy to be on your client
I'll
list.
probably be back at some point.
We're ready for you. Thanks, guys. Have a good night, and let's go Heat.
Let's go Heat.
Let's
Thank
go
you.
Heat.
Thank you, Jeff Epstein. Appreciate it. Thank you. That was fun. I like doing new things.
You're a wild boy, G.
I mean, I love that he reached out. I thought
he did. He reached out and he was interested in coming on. And listen, I love it. Chat was expecting.
That was a fuck up. We should have gone with the boozer pick.
Or you could have went with is it Sam Miller that be on NBA TV all the time? He rocks the Beijing, and like you could have the old dude, Sam Mitchell.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sam Mitchell. Yeah.
He rocks the Beijing under the
Chat's taking me out of context. I'm happy to be on. I am. He's a great doctor. He's fantastic. He's one
happy
of.
to be on the Epstein list.
He's absolutely terrific.
Wild statement.
To close out the show, we are going to give you a little more basketball stuff. We're gonna get into the nitty gritty of this game. And Bon, I know you have some clips for us that you wanna talk through. So let's talk about that. Let's transition. We had our fun. And somebody in chat said this is what happens when the Heat have 20 plus turnovers. I don't know how to break it to you guys, but there was a world where we were gonna open the show like that.
That was a discussion.
Yeah, there was a discussion. There's a world where if they win at the buzzer again, we would have opened with the doctor. So you didn't have much of a choice in that. But Bon, let's get into some of their stuff. So we have some clips here on.
Do I
Miami's
not get my
defense.
intro anymore? This is insane.
Brass might kill me for copyright.
Oh, is that how that works? Okay, fine. Oh, I can control the pausing stuff. Okay, so this is typically we're talking about the first two are some of the Miami health stuff, and then the last one is that Jaime skip. I tweeted about it. I've really enjoyed the connectedness of their team defense, because not only is like the most immediate help read there, the secondary like two layers deep of help is kind of already in position, and it makes in a way it makes the job easier for the defenders that came before. You dictate, you funnel, you decide, kind of where things go. So first couple plays, so Khalil guarding Jared, right? Sam Merrill. Come on, man.
Look at this production.
Shout out to my people. Shout out Tactic. We can talk about them later. Yeah. So Khalil guarding Jared Allen, right? Sam Merrill on this slip. There's all this space, right? Khalil comes over a little late. So this is a switch. So Pella ends up on Sam on the after the slip. It's Davion for me. So Khalil is already into his tagging or his giving his attention to the roller. Davion comes down, checks all the way down to Jared. Now Lonzo does a good job here out on the wing. He rises a bit. That forces this to be a lengthy closeout, a really long closeout after kind of emptying that whole right side. But just the anticipatory nature of what their team defense has been this season so far. How you add the next one, G? Or do I have
all right, no, I'll put it up.
Okay.
We're moving.
Why is this here?
Break down the aces. Break down the aces. We're here.
I don't know why this is here.
Break down the aces. Break down the aces. Bond, walk us through what's going on. At least this team wins.
Game one. This is game. Shout out to Asia on ball. Asia guarding AT. This is a great scheme. Phoenix was running a lot of inverted pick and roll with Monica Cole-McConney on AT, and they were just getting switches, and AT was just attacking space, and Asia is guarding this, arms out, shoulders big. Shout out to Asia and Bam on saying them. I genuinely don't
Can
know
I
why.
tell you something? I
It's
saw a
supposed to be a
pic.
different one.
I got a pic and I got confused. I haven't seen one in a while.
I was gonna say that
I'm
was
weak.
great defense, though. It really was.
She's the GOAT.
Oh, yeah. I'm really irritated. Dang, the second one was great.
Right, we got
That's fine. And then the Jaime skip.
Yep.
The Jaime skip was great. So talking about, kind of some of the tenets of their offense, and the circular nature of it and how they move people through around with the corners. So it starts Jaime backdoor. So there's this space. Christian, you talked about them getting into the creases. They're just finding a little bit of gaps, getting there and charging them, like activating and using the spaces on the floor. Jaime makes this cut. So as Jaime goes to cut, is that Drew? Yeah, Drew in the corner, right? Gets a little bit in line. Drew rises. Jaime cuts baseline. Jaime cuts into a post up. Lonzo, guarding Drew in the corner, sees what's happening over here, right? Nico goes, makes this pass. Simone post entry. Lonzo comes over, double. Drew makes the cut, baseline cut. 2 to the ball, 2 to Jaime. Sam Merrill now gets activated. That's his matchup. And then Christian, to your point about how well Jaime has or has not been handling the double this year, he's been a lot more poised. He's felt controlled, and I thought that this was a really kind of clear example of it. Didn't panic when 2 came. Didn't try to force this pass to the baseline here. Didn't panic. Didn't try to hot potato that one in tightly.
Did he find the corner guy across the court here?
Yep. Yeah. Lets that go.
That's a great play.
Sees the corner, sees that opening. Drew slides a little bit. Good pass, good skip, good shot.
The one thing I really like about that play, Bond, is a big part of this Miami offense is the cutting, is the baseline cutting.
Yes.
And we talked about that early in the show. It's really the lifeblood of the offense. And the Drew baseline cut is what allows Powell to relocate. And like I said before, the baseline cutter comes and somebody has to relocate to fill that corner. And it's that circular motion. So like we can just run it like again. Where's the press play over here? Yeah. Like they're gonna go and there's just that constant motion, right? It's like this. It's almost like a circular whirlpool. And Jaime's gonna get the ball, and as we say, Drew Smith's gonna cut. And look, Powell's going to relocate to that corner. And look at the top of the key. Fontecchio's there. If that guy helps off of him, Fontecchio's a really good shooter. Nico is a great passer, can attack off the dribble, can also shoot. Like they have so many options off things like this that, and then obviously Norm relocates. Good entry pass, by the way. And yeah, just really proud of that development.
What has been fun, sometimes this corner cutter doesn't go. Bam, when they did that little segment, Bam talked about not wanting to do double drives, but sometimes they will like fill behind where someone has already driven from. So maybe they don't bring this baseline cutter. Maybe this is a Norm cut. But then Drew will kind of drive in the wake of his cut. They're getting a lot of usage and utility out of from the breakdown on both sides of the floor.
But this is exactly what you want to see from him. Yeah, just being able to take the defense, throwing some pressure at you, and not losing your cool. Maybe backing out of it a little bit and just looking to make the right play. And on this one, I mean, he makes a hell of a play. It's not easy to make those cross-court passes like that, knowing there's defenders that could be in those passing lanes. So great play by him.
Would you have?
And to your point, I think if they see that defender cheating over too much to overplay the cut man, that's where they do that second drive because it's wide open because they turned around basically. Like where you said, sometimes it's the second drive. If you go back to this play, you see how the play before that.
Go ahead, walk through. I don't know that I have it.
Okay, well, if basically when the baseline cutter goes,
you're saying
then the guy.
Oh no, this was a defense.
This was defense. I think he was talking about the pieces before the.
Okay.
I can kind of do my best to explain it. When the baseline cutter goes, if the bottom defender kind of overplays them. Right. I think this is where, is this the one where Drew cut the baseline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. If you keep
Hold on,
watching it, right?
I'm gonna get you to Drew.
Right.
So Drew's gonna cut here.
Yep, right here.
Yeah.
And if you keep watching it, when the defender acknowledges that, you see how that's creating, it's creating an opening, it's creating an open lane because he's anticipating the baseline guy. So if the guy right here sneak behind him, or the second driver sneak behind him, like usually that's when the attention is focused on that baseline cutter.
Yeah.
And then also to that cross court pass, I think that's because what he's been beating that with the pass whenever he's been getting, because he's been seeing doubles. Jaime, that is, has been seeing doubles for probably about 3 or 4 games now. They just been sneaky, hasn't been as consistent. So I think that is a part of his evolution. What he's doing is successfully able to find the right pass and make the right play. To your point, Christian, more often than not, as he's receiving that extra attention. Because as you've highlighted, Bond, like he's been receiving that kind of attention for the last 4 games. They made it a point in this game, though, was like, this guy isn't going to beat us tonight, though. Because he had some big shots in that other game. I mean, the fadeaway Turner that he was missing tonight, he was making that the other night. And they was like, he's not going to beat us tonight. So.
No, and I like that he said in the post game presser, like, and we already said it, like when he said I had good looks and I missed the easy ones after he was asked, like, I think he recognizes also. I want to highlight one more play, Bond, and it's kind of a little bit similar, and it's this Pell Larson pass, and not that there's obviously like important the defense, the Cavs absolutely like totally crash in the paint, blah blah blah. It's more just an individual, like that's a really hard pass. And I want to just highlight when young guys are making strides like this, because I'm a big believer in playmaking elevates your ceiling in the NBA. I think scoring is great, all that stuff, but really what opens up your game, as we see with Jaime, is the playmaking. And a guy like Pell Larson, for him, I don't think Pell Larson's going to be an all-star guy. He's going to be I think a really high functioning role player. I would not be surprised if he's a very important player on a title team someday. Hopefully with us, but elsewhere. And I think like kind of an action like this where, you're asking him to create off the drive and make a pass in between the trees to find the corner shooter, I think is really impressive. And I think it's really important in his development.
Am I tripping, or is that under the goal to the either deep corner pass happening a lot in this offense?
So what are like that is a fundamental read. You are taught like from a youth, like as if one of your teammates is driving baseline, if you are in that corner to sink, because that is such a weapon of a tool of a pass. And so it is like a good part of this rotary style of working the ball around.
They're finding that opening, and it's just like when they can make that pass, because Jaime tried to make it one time in this game and he wasn't able to get it all the way through. I see Nico tricking that pass off all the time, so I'm glad Pell was able to make it.
Pell is able to execute it. It's a read. It's a rudimentary read, but to G's point, executing it in that traffic.
Yeah, like that's what I said. Like I didn't think it was like a complicated, it was just
no.
It was a driving kick, but I just think that like the pass is important, and the fact that like he and other players in this offense are empowered to do that is important, because for me, this season is about that. I don't care. That's why I'm not bothered that they lost today. I want Jaime to work through struggles, right? Like I want guys to be on the floor and fail so that they can learn, right? Like I want the young players on this team to grow and to get something from the season. I think that obviously like they're better than we thought. And I think they probably top out at a second round out, in a perfect world, right? Like if they get the right first round matchup and they have a really strong regular season or whatever, I don't really see this team competing for a title. I mean, if they do, that would be the most shocking thing in the history of the franchise. But
it's one of the last title runs that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, and that's why.
But I was just about to say, wait a minute, hold on now.
No, but hold on. Even those, this would be more shocking. Even those,
it would.
Even in a more wide open East, though.
I think so. I think that.
Without a central figure like the Jimmy, and then I think.
Okay, I do think that there's stuff in this offense that we saw as like schemable And I think that when a really good coach, like a guy like Quinn Snyder, like a guy, I mean, there's a lot of good coaches. Mike Brown is a really good coach, and he's a really smart defensive coach. Like, there's a lot of really good coaches in the East right now. Obviously Kenny Atkinson and stuff like that I could see. But I just want the young guys to kind of get their shine. I mean, Bon, we talked about this one. The Hawkes fast break, the inside out dribble. Again, it's just like it's just the skill that he does it with. That to me is important. Like that he has the confidence to like go inside out, that he's like getting around guys on a fast break, that he's pushing pace. And does he get the rebound here? I believe he does. Yeah. And I used to say this with Lowry all the time. I love guards that rebound because when they rebound, they push. And that stuff is so important. Yeah.
And the funny thing is he's been a little bit of a Jimmy replacement. Very kind of a similar play style, especially on offense.
I had a tweet. They laughed at me.
I was about to say, even if you don't think it looks the same, it's the same effectiveness. He's getting into the teeth of the defense and making things happen.
They function in the same way. What
was the other thing you were right about? You said something, and I think we all were like, "You're crazy," and then I think quote tweeted it and go like, "Teehee." I forgot what it was.
It was about Wiggins. The whole time I'm like, you guys, I get like he's fake in the young guy's way. What does he kind of at? But like you need, again, they play pocket isolation basketball, and he has proven to be like a serviceable isolation scorer where they have used him at.
He was a pretty important one during that Warriors title run.
Yes.
I think the thing with him is
he's the tough shot maker you get at Walmart. You don't get it at Saks Fifth. He's the tough shot maker you get at Walmart. But he's a tough shot maker.
No, okay, he's target. Target.
Hey, they sell good.
Either way, you get what I'm saying, though.
He's not. Dion Waiters was Walmart. He's Target.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I didn't call the man Dollar General, is what I'm saying.
Fine.
That's Jordan Clarkson.
But he's a tough shot maker. We can all agree there.
I agree.
Yes.
I think the thing that we're gonna have to reckon with at some point, and I know we're running out of time here, is all the lineup data shows that they're better with him off the floor. But I do think that will even out. I do think that some of that's some noise, and we'll see. Want to close out the show with a little funny. We have 2 plays here for a hottest new segment. Do you work on that shot?
What kind of shot is that?
No. Oh my goodness, Valentine!
No.
Whoa.
Have you ever shot that shot?
Looking for Steph. Now Draymond's got it.
What did he do that for?
Draymond.
Do you work on that shot?
Yes! Oh!
When?
It's Cody Martin. You gotta hit it. Oh!
Step back, one-legged man.
To Bargnani. What is he doing?
What kind of shot is that?
The Valentine shot kills me every time.
Oh my goodness, Valentine!
Step back, one-legged. Do you work on that?
I love Patrick Ewing. It's just the whole thing makes me happy. That whole imaging is so good.
Yes.
Okay, so we have 2 plays tonight. One from Cleveland, one from the Heat. The Cavs have a guy named Protractor, which is pretty funny, and we have a shot of his here tonight. If the player will work, is StreamYard going to cooperate? Okay, here we go. All air. Yeah. Did that hit somebody on the head?
It might have
he takes a 3. Again, it looked like it boinked off.
This one didn't hit Davion in the head.
Davion low-key got fried tonight by a guy named Craig.
I mean, like, he always, like, basketball to his face is like something normal. So thankfully this was his hand.
Well, you remember Goran. Goran used to just get elbowed in the face all the time.
Like on a weekly basis.
And he would get the foul call. It's like, wait a minute.
Every time.
He's losing teeth, man. He's losing teeth.
This is Norman Powell.
Oh, that's Norm. Just the one that hit the side of the backboard.
Oh yeah, that one was bad. And I was like, ooh. And that, this is a pretty kind of open, nice look. He's open. He's open and goink.
Yeah.
We know he does, however, work on that shot. So Appreciate everybody rocking with us after a loss. I know it's not it was a little disappointing, but we had fun, man. We had Jeffrey Epstein on. How many podcasts could say they have Jeffrey Epstein on?
Hopefully, very few.
I've been so nervous this whole week. I'm like, what the hell is this bit? But I haven't really wanted to ask. Oh yeah, we're having Jeffrey on. I'm like, I know this isn't a fucking cutout. What is this?
Fucking Jeffrey Epstein cutout would have been great.
I think this is a better bit than Waiters Island. I'll just say that.
I mean, Christian's on Epstein Island over there.
Well, I caught that when he first said it. He was like, "I'm on my island," and you were like, "Yeah, we're having Jeffrey Epstein on." I was like,
You're just like,
Yeah.
well, yeah. The fucked
Take
up
us
part
out,
is like
guys.
the fucked up part for my doctor is Jeffrey Epstein was in the fucking news today.
I mean, bro, I'm gonna be honest. I'm on my lunch break and I'm just scrolling through the timeline and it's just a bunch of fucking Jeffrey Epstein emails and I'm like, on of all days for this stuff to come out.
You know what's gonna happen, right? Tomorrow, people are gonna be searching on Twitter for Jeffrey Epstein.
"Oh yeah."
And our
That's
podcast
crazy.
is going to come out.
Correct.
And our podcast is going to be like, we welcome
What
Jeffrey.
where's that ticker?
Yes.
Siobhan Beslow is not like, I'm not really sure how it's going to be received. However, comma.
Okay. You know, we'll do that right now.
Unfortunately, I know I am in the Epstein files.
Siobhan
Whoa.
Beslow.
Dr. Jeffrey Epstein's files.
Siobhan, what do you want the ticker to say?
I don't even know. I
I
don't
am
even
not
know.
sure what this bit is.
If you
There we
guys
go.
like it, I like it.
Yeah, Siobhan Beslow, I'm not sure what this bit is. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you to my beautiful panelists. Tomorrow, we have Brady Hawk.
Oh, the Hawk!
The Hawk, El Águila.
Oh.
Is coming on the show.
Wonder.
We're going to talk some Heat offense with Brady, one of the best in the biz, doing it with our friends over at 5 and 5 on the floor. So look forward to that tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. We will be live. Shout out to Kay. Give Kay a follow on Twitter at K_said_K. You know where to find Bon at Siobhan Beslow, Christian and I, all that good stuff. Twitter at MIHeatbeat. Appreciate you guys. And we'll see you tomorrow with the Hawk. Thank you, Jeffrey Epstein.